gift I got was, dude, life is short. You might as well be in it. You might as well be fully a present with it. Not what's next, not like, the next 100,000 you're going to make. No, it's what's right here. And it's the relationships with the guys. It's the relationship with your kids. That's what really matters. But until you've had a chance to be radically present with yourself, it's almost like an experiential pattern interrupt. Until you've done that, it's hard to fathom how great that gift is. So I wanted to give that gift to other people. And the only way I could imagine doing it was to kind of recreate what I experienced, not in 40 days, but in 4 days.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Big Headers Podcast. I'm joined by a good buddy of mine, Michael Noyes he's a buddy of mine from Rise Up Kings, and he has an incredible business that my mind was blown. So they do motorcycle tours, and if you actually check out his website, it looks pretty awesome. And honestly, I'm like, man, I need to figure out how I can get on one of these tours. So, Michael, my first question is always the same. Tell us your story. How did we get to where we are today?
Well, it's a really good question, Andrew. I think it was 2020 was when the breaking point happened, and I think that happened for a lot of people. 2020 was COVID, right? And for me, I was part of a high performance, executive team. We produced a lot of what we did is we closed loans in the auto industry, and it's kind of a grinder job, meaning the hours are long. But, when you're closing a lot of loans and following up with loans, and you're in charge of a massive pipeline of loans to fund these auto deals in the auto business, it's important. It has to be because, when someone gets their car, um, you know, they leave, they don't pay, they just leave with a signature. And we have to make sure that the dealers receive the money that they need on that contract that they've just written. And, it's high pressure. So, anyways, I was in a high pressure environment like that. Before that, mortgage business, and always really working with your mind and the fingers and the keyboard and the screens, and felt like I had lost something of myself because prior to that, college football player, always super active, doing things in the wild, camping with my dad, fishing with my dad. But then you step into adult life and you get put on this other trajectory. And for me, it was this sort of executive kind of boring finance role. So 2020 happens, COVID shuts down the dealer group where I worked, and they let me and my team go. And it was shocking because we were the most productive team in the entire organization. And there was probably 1,000 employees, and we were the top team. So I wasn't expecting that. And I'd been divorced at that time, I think about almost 15 years, and was kind of used to being a divorced dad. But I think what I worked so much, I never really faced up to some of the challenges of my life, like emotionally, and some of those more soft personal issues, like the fact that my kids didn't necessarily return my text very quickly. These aren't things that I thought about much when I was working every day in the grind. As soon as that was removed, every flaw in my character, in my life circumstances, rose to the surface. I'm sitting, watching Netflix, looking at a white wall, maybe not doing anything that you couldn't get out and do anything during COVID. And it let a lot of that stuff come to the surface for me. Both my parents died during COVID, and that brought more to the surface for me. And I realized I was kind of living a life that I had stumbled into, not one that I had designed. And I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with the long hours, with a pile of money in the bank account, but didn't have any real meaningful relationships. And I thought, this isn't going to work. So I went on a 40-day motorcycle ride by myself, and more of this, self-reflection time, and more came to the surface. More things came to the surface I was aware of that just wasn't me. Just wasn't me. Um, so I came back from that 40-day trip and I realized, yeah, I cashed in my chips. I went to my boss and said, Hey, dude, I know you're having me back now that the COVID panic has subsided and you hired back everyone that you let go. But it just gave that 40 days gave me pause to realize that this is not me. I don't want to be the guy who takes his dollars and leaves his kids in the garbage can. Um, and that's what I've done. So I guess in a strange turn of events, uh, I I think I realized that the power I found to walk away from that career that has defined me for 25 years was found in a 40-day motorcycle ride by myself. Maybe if I provide that opportunity for other guys, they might have a chance to reflect, to unplug, to get a little insight into what's working and what's not working in their life. And more than anything, it's freaking fun, dude. It's so much fun to be out there with a group of dudes exploring uncharted territory in the middle of the desert on a bunch of motorcycles. It's
Where
really,
did the
really fun.
how'd you have the idea? Where'd that come from? That's so crazy. Is that like a thing? Did you like, I just want to go start one of these companies or
It did start like that. It started. It's like I said. It started kind of like back when I did my own event. Sorry, event. My own personal tour. I really found that I enjoyed life on the road on my motorcycle with my, you know, my tent, my $10 sleeping bag, and my side saddles full of tuna fish cans and ramen noodles with no idea where I was going. Here I am, a guy, I'm a finance executive that has every 15 minutes of my schedule and my itineraries planned out for the next 6 weeks. Like I know where I'm going to be and what's due. And then that gets thrown away. And now I have to figure out what to do with endless free time and nowhere to be and nowhere to go. And the journey for me of really just having a chance to live in something is so different than my normal life. My normal domesticated life, defined by computer screens and spreadsheets, was traded in for roadmaps and meeting wild, crazy 1% bikers on the road, camping with homeless guys. Excuse me. Like it was those things that became highlights for me. It was about the relationship, about the exploration. And so I thought to myself after I returned from that trip, that maybe for the first time in my life, I was alive. I was living. I was in the moment. I was not worried about money or deadlines or any of those things. Those things were gone. They weren't even a possibility. The only thing I had to worry about was the next mile ahead, the next 10 feet. And so, like, I guess I had a crash course in being present because I had no choice. And in being present, I realized how aloof I had been all those years. So that was the gift I got. The gift I got was, dude, life is short. You might as well be in it. You might as well be fully a present with it. You know? Not what's next, not like, the next 100,000 you're gonna make. No, it's what's right here. And it's the relationships with the guys. It's the relationship with your kids. That's what really matters. But until you've had a chance to be radically present with yourself in a way that's like it's almost like an experiential pattern interrupt. Until you've done that, it's hard to fathom how great that gift is. So I wanted to give that gift to other people. And the only way I could imagine doing it was to kind of recreate what I experienced, not in 40 days, but in 4 days. So that's kind of a roundabout way to describe what I did.
so okay. So talk to me about maybe the experience someone can anticipate when they sign up for one of your tours. Is it them and like 20 of their closest friends? Is it paired with a bunch of strangers? Like what does it normally look like?
It's mostly strangers, maybe a couple of guys being friends. It's 20 guys, 25 guys. They show up at a ranch in Southern California with no idea what to expect. And there we have laid out 65 machines that just look awesome. And like, what are
So you
these?
do so they don't bring any of their own stuff.
Nothing. We have 65 machines laid out for them. But you said, well, wait, you just said that there's only 20 guys. Uh huh. Yeah. Because when they come, they're going to ride a dirt bike, and then they're going to ride an adventure bike, and then they're going to ride a UTV, then they're going to ride an electric bike. They're going to try out all these different bikes and different terrains. Literally, the purpose of this experience is to just rock their world. Like, they don't have a chance. As soon as they're getting used to riding the street bike, we rip them off the street bike and put them in a UTV and make them go through a swamp. And as soon as they get used to that, we pull them off of that, put them on a dirt bike, make them climb a mountain. And it's like this intentional, deliberate difficulty is the best way to say it. Deliberate difficulty and deliberate discomfort. We put them in those situations. And the weird thing happens when guys get worn out and they get beat up from being on the trail like that and are doing it with a bunch of other guys. They're trying to help other guys get up that same mountain. And an amazing kind of very natural and authentic camaraderie happens. It's almost like you hit the reset button and you go back to sort of like that tribal feeling you had when you were 14 years old, running around on BMX bikes and ice cream sandwiches, and and you and your buddies running through the town and like raising havoc, and maybe having crabapple fights with a rival gang, like that whole thing when you were young, where it wasn't about what's next. It's just about it was what's next, but it wasn't like, how do we plan the most elaborate thing? It was just like, wow, that's cool. Look at that hill. Look at that place. Let's go jump that. It was strange. It was like more of an immersive experience that I had. I just wanted to share with others. I don't know. It's the only way I can explain it. It doesn't make any sense. When people ask you about it, like, I don't know why I did this.
I would have to imagine that you get a lot of referrals. Like if I go through something like that, like it was like with Rise of Kings, I was like, dude, this thing changed my life. You got to go do this. Like,
how do you describe it?
yeah. Hmm. Yeah. That's a good point.
Like if you try to describe Rise of Kings, the minute you put words to it, you're already diminishing it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I mean, it's true. Huh. Well, it's well, okay. So, but that's not. It's missing the point of what you do. So, yeah, how do you that it like it transcends your experience? Like it's so powerful and potent. And I think there is an interesting trend, Michael, in our culture now, where the like truly wealthy people, I think they're wealthy in time, and they can do experiences like that. Like I see a lot of the influencers on Instagram or whatever saying, "Oh, like I had the Lambo and I had the things, but I realized it was being able to go on a cruise ship or on a yacht with my family around, the Caribbean for 2 weeks or whatever."
Right.
So, I think that's actually a brilliant to create this incredible, it's like wow experience. Um, how are people finding you? Is it mostly social media? Is it Google?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
what?
it used to be 2.5 years ago. It was just me doing one of these things a quarter for my friends. That was it. And then as it started, and it mainly was to learn how to host these kind of events. And now it's almost all meta. So people find us from Facebook ads. People find us from uh, Facebook and Instagram ads, and that's half of it. The other half is repeat referral business and referrals. Yeah, repeats and referrals. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Um, go ahead.
no, no, right. So you come to one of these events, you're probably gonna have your mind you're gonna be rocked. And it's just unlike anything else in the world because there's no other event like it, especially here in the US. There's nothing like it. I mean, and when you're here, you get a chance to ride with the world's best. So what I mean by that, and a lot of guys don't know motorcyclists. They may not know who Jeff Emig is or Mark Samuels. These are names that aren't mainstream to people who don't understand motorcycling. But Jeff Emig is a multi-time Supercross and motocross national champ. Um, Mark Samuels is the 8-time Baja 1000 champion. And you get to ride with guys like this. And our other leaders are all Hollywood A-list stunt guys. So they're the stunt doubles for all the guys in Hollywood that do the big, like ride cars through fire off a cliff, like those kind of guys. So when you come and meet the leaders, it's really humbling and awesome. And if I were to put it into a different context, it'd be like, hey, you want to start like a basketball camp? Yeah, that'd be great. You want to bring all your friends and family and coworkers and just have it be cool, have it be catered? Yeah. What if Michael Jordan showed up and Shaquille O'Neal? Would that be cool? What if you get to play, half court with Michael? that's the kind of experience we offer people. So they're,
That's unreal.
it's pretty cool. So you get a chance to learn from the best. You're going to level up your skills, but even beyond all that, which is super cool, just the terrain itself and the challenges that you face as a man having to get those motorcycles over that mountain, that alone is worth the price of admission. But then we just layer the food and the instruction and, we layer that on top. It just makes it extra special.
What are what are some sticking points right now, Michael, with your business? Like, what are some things that maybe not keep you up at night, but like some problems you're trying to solve or some issues you're trying to overcome?
It's you could imagine being a very unique offer in the marketplace. One of the challenges we have is finding salespeople who understand it.
Yeah.
We've gone through 5 salespeople, 4 of which couldn't sell a single one. I got one guy who just sells 2 or 3 of these tours a day. And, when I sold, I'd sell 2 or 3 a day. When I, but it's hard for me to find salespeople that can do this because they overcomplicate it. Like, and even me talking about it, I get so excited, I probably overcomplicate it. But how do you sell something like this to someone? It doesn't even seem real. So I think having a sales force, growing our sales force has been a challenge, which sounds crazy because you've seen the website, right? You see how cool it looks, but to get someone who's comfortable asking for $10,000 or $15,000, to come ride with us, for a lot of guys, that's like, oh, that's a lot of money. But for the right customer, for our avatar, $10,000 or $15,000 to have an amazing week-long experience with a bunch of other dudes like them is not. So I
And
think
I was actually going to think that your price was around 20 to 25,000. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it could be. It really could be. Um, we're trying to keep the price at a point where it's where most people in the 40 to 50 to 60 age range could do this and money wouldn't be a problem. If you're in your 50s, late 40s, 60s, in that range, like 45 to 65, you may have an extra 10,000 put aside. And that's so but 25, 30, that's where it becomes, that's a little bit more that's a whole car for some people, right? Or, you know,
Okay, let's talk about AI for a second. How are you using it, if at all? And where do you feel like you could be using it that you're not?
we're using AI for our marketing. It helps us come up with variations of our marketing pitch. And what's really cool is uh, we can feed it our existing marketing and it will spit back out, like I said, excellent variations you would think that I wrote or a professional wrote. And you're like, wow, that's really good. And it took 2 seconds rather than slaving over the computer coming up with these unique scripts and angles. So that's been really helpful. Contracts, whenever I'm doing vendor contracts, I use AI. Hey, hey, ChatGPT, I need to say X, Y, and Z and A, B, and C. Boom, full contract. Send it to the attorney. It takes him, an hour to review it and fix it, rather than me paying him $10,000 for this new vendor contract. So AI is really leveraging it for legal and for marketing.
And where do you feel like you could, Michael, be using it that you're not?
That's a good question. I think I need to know more what AI could do. Right. So,
Yeah.
um, we're not using it to come up with workflows. We're not using it to come up with ways to reduce our operational costs. We're not using it in those capacities, which I think could be helpful. So I think because we don't know how. But that if I could use AI for anything, it'd be how do I reduce my operational costs? How can I leverage the man hours? Here are all of our employees. Here's what they do. Here's what an event looks like. And here's the total list of all the tasks that are needed to be done. What's the most optimal mix of skilled workers that could get me the outcome we want, which is to deliver this amazing experience, but do it in a way that's cost effective where we don't have people standing around all day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Michael, we met through something called Rise Up Kings, but I talk about it all the time on the show. What are some ways that it's impacted you, and how does it formulate? I suppose, like, When we talk about business, ministry, I believe that business is ministry, ministry is business, vice versa. How has it impacted the way you run your business?
Well, when I was at Rise Up Kings, what I learned about myself is I'm a massive procrastinator. And that was the thing that I had to give away in the ice bath, procrastination. Um, Looking for ways to avoid discomfort is really what it comes down to. And at Rise Up Kings, what I learned was that, and Skylar's printed a shirt that says pain is the path. But really it is. I've learned to try to tackle more frequently the things that are uncomfortable first thing in my day. Um, and not to try to put them off. I'm still an abysmal procrastinator, but like 1/10 of what I used to be even just 6 months ago. So I've seen a lot of progress where I'm confronting things earlier and not letting them mount up on me, and that's probably gonna be a lifelong struggle for me, but that's something that's been identified and I'm working on.
What's one thing we haven't talked about today that fires you up? Could be business, could be faith, could be family, anything. What's a business principle that you are a podcast that you're high on, a hot take no one shares, anything that we haven't
Hmm.
talked about today?
Something that fires me up. I mean, it's hard to go there and not go political. You know, are politics off limits?
No, I don't care. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Dude, Gaza, like what's happening there to me is it's just that fires me up to see these starving kids being used for target practice. Like I'm struggling with finding any real basis for brutal the brutal war in Gaza. I mean, the way that Israel's handling it it's insane. It's almost like, like something has to be done. The violence has to stop. I mean, the violence from Hamas, I get needs to stop. I guess what happened in, you know, that when they crossed the border came over and it was just a nasty thing and what the what Hamas did in Israel was awful. But I feel like it's such an epic overreaction, no? I mean, for me, it's not as like fires me up. It just makes me really sad that the world is standing by watching it. We're not doing anything about it. Like it needs to stop. Yep. I mean, if a guy went and robbed a bank, did something really bad, maybe shot somebody, and then ran into a school full of kids to hide from the police, we wouldn't just say, "Oh yeah, blow the place up." No, we have to work around it. You have to figure a way to get the guy out of there and not kill the kids. We're just not doing that. Israel's not doing that. And I feel like
Yeah.
our country is aiding and abetting Israel in the way that they're indiscriminately bombing. So for me, that's something that gets me up. And I can find myself scrolling at night through all those catastrophes and then the political commentary on both sides. And so I get kind of caught up in that. I probably shouldn't because I feel like there's nothing I can do. But man, does that impact you?
I don't think about it. Honestly, man, I'm sitting here thinking like, is this something I should care about? And I pray it probably is, so I have no idea honestly what's going on in the world half the time. So when people like you like inform me, I'm like, wow, that sounds terrible. I should really probably care about that and do something about it. So what do you think? Like, how can people, yeah, and besides like the token Christian thing to do is, oh, sending prayers, but that's not enough. Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have that's the tough part about it and probably why I'm so stuck on it is it doesn't there's no easy solution. I mean, peace in the Middle East, come on, man. It's like a party punchline. The idea
Yeah.
that there ever could be peace in the Middle East. But
Yeah.
when you see images and unfortunately these algorithms on social media are so good now that they've figured out that fires me up and they just keep feeding me more images of starving kids in Gaza, more images of things
Mm,
being blown up. So I think like, I almost have to learn to turn it off because it's
yeah.
disruptive. I'll come home at 7, 8 o'clock at night, sit down, have dinner with my wife, and then, um, I'll go, change out of my clothes, get in my sweats, sit in bed, and I'll be scrolling on the Gaza stuff for, like, 2 hours. It's not doing me any good, and it's not doing the world any good. So I think the solution is just, I think we want to be close to the truth. Just almost ignore it. What can we do? That's the frustration.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
You know, to make a difference over there. Maybe it is healthy just to shut it out. I don't have answers, man.
Yeah, I don't know either. I accidentally the other day on Instagram, I clicked on a video that talks about how everything in your house is toxic, and like every chemical, every bit of water, every breath you breathe, and then I started getting guys like going into stores like testing to see if everything has lead in it, and I'm like, goodness gracious, how do I unsubscribe to this
I
feed
know,
because
right?
it's gonna make me live in paranoia, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna be worried about everything that I do. I don't know, man. I do know what it I do know that what it makes me thankful for is that, I'm not a big on nationalism at all, but the fact that we were born in a country where by and large freedom is celebrated, and we don't have a tyrannical government. And we can grow businesses to the glory of God. Um, I don't have the answer, but I know that the one who is just will ultimately get the call. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think we'll find out. Yeah, in the end,
yeah.
hopefully we find out what that was all about. That smear in history, which is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Yeah.
Michael, switching gears, if people want to learn more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
Well, you might want to start with, you can go to our website, which is www.aliveworldwide.com. And alive is spelled without the E. So it's like alive worldwide. You can go to our Instagram, which is at alive_worldwide, and check out, the feed there. Those are two good places to start. And you can just poke around and see what kind of adventures we're up to and see if it's something you're interested in. But if you're a red-blooded male, 35 to 65, and you've never been on dirt bikes in the desert, this is a great time to start. It's a great way to start if you want to do that, or if you just want to see the most beautiful scenes, countryside in Southern California. This is a great way to do it. Yeah.
I'm actually going to connect my buddy Rod Sawyer. If you're listening, I'm thinking about you. This guy loves motorcycles, so I think that he would be a good candidate for you. So, um, well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. I had a great time. This is something that we hadn't talked about before, so I always love diving into new industries and niches, and I love. I mean, what would you, at the end of the day, Michael? What would you consider yourself to be an events company? Like, what at the core of how you describe it is that what you do?
It's kind of like, it's a cross between Rise Up Kings in a sense, because we're deliberately putting people in discomfort, and a country club. It's kind of like a country club for badasses. It's a country club for guys who want to do badass stuff. They want to get out and into the wild. So I don't know. Are we tour guides? Are we an event company? Are we personal development coaches? Kind of all the above. I think it's what makes it unique, is because it's not any one of those. It's all of them combined.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Hey, don't go anywhere. I want to chop it up with you, but thanks for so much for coming on the podcast. And guys, go check out what Michael's doing. This is so cool. If you know anybody that loves motorcycles or motocross or anything related to, two-wheeled moto driven vehicles, then send them his way for an unforgettable experience. And yeah, you won't regret it. Michael, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome, man. Thank you, Andrew.